comes on, feel free to ask any questions or anything like that. I'm going to be editing at the same time, hence why I have headphones on, just so I don't disrupt any of the audio from the editing process. Yeah, just ask anything you want. I shall address it to the best of my abilities, and yeah, hopefully we can get some good conversations going while I get some work done at the same time. So the new video that I'm going to be editing while talking to you guys will be, hey, what's up? Hey, how's it going, Devin? Yeah, so I'm going to edit a video right now because I already had the footage. I didn't have much time to take new footage this week, so I filmed a trapeze kind of conditioning and strength and conditioning footage before, so I'm going to take you behind the scenes a little bit in that, and hopefully some of the information can apply to your training. It's good strength and conditioning stuff you can do even if you're not planning on doing any trapeze performances or anything like that. Yeah. Adobe Premiere is slowly getting easier for me. Gonna buy the monthly subscription this week. Yeah, totally. I recommend it. Honestly, there's so many tutorials out there about Adobe Premiere, and it's all like super user friendly, I find, compared to any other software I've used, which isn't many, but I think it's definitely the best. Like, I know most of the YouTubers that I follow use it, and then it has the plugins like After Effects, which is quite fun, and then Photoshop's great for the thumbnails and stuff like that. You don't have to use any of the generators. You can get a little bit more fancy with them. Not that I know how to totally yet, but even if you just do the cutout and then the stuff. So many nice LUTs, presets, since I have a new computer last week. Yeah, that's super important, the processing power. Like, that's why I got my computer home built, because it was the only one that could like handle the 4K footage, and even 4K is kind of slow, but from the 120 frames and stuff like that, it's super key, because if you're lagging while editing, it makes an already long process even longer. Oop. I don't know why my audio is not working on this thing. There we go. I can still hear that. Interesting. So yeah, if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask away. If anyone has any idea how to make my audio not go over my speakers while I'm editing, that would be awesome. I don't know what's going on. Still doing it. Interesting. Well, we'll just turn off the audio for now then. So, is there any videos that anyone has requests for? Because I'm going to be traveling next week, heading out to Florida for a bit for a vacation. But when I get back, I'm going to shoot some more stuff. So, if you have any requests, just let me know, and I'll try to get around to filming it and stuff like that, and dressing it as soon as I can. And I'm going to be limited on the time that I can spend on the live chat because my phone will probably die. It died a lot quicker on the last one than I expected it to, so yeah, this one is only at like 45%, or 38% right now, so probably got like 25 minutes that I can do. Saying anything. Only Devin. This is the behind the scenes. All incredibly exciting. I don't know how well the camera on this thing works. Just dropped my phone. I'm pretty sure I shattered it over top of the camera. Yeah. Well, if you have any questions, I can try to answer them to the best of my ability. No one's asking anything. I'm just editing at the moment. Hello. How are you? Tripod working. Is there any topics that anyone wants me to talk about? What do you want me to say? Que ondes? Is that how you say it? Que ondes? Hi. Hello. I know on Monday when I was doing the live stream, I had people ask training questions and stuff like that, so same thing can apply for today. If you guys have training questions, I can do that. Hey, how are you? If not, I can just talk about something that I think might be of interest, and we can go from there. Well, I'll talk about something recently. I was listening to, I like to listen to the Joe Rogan podcast quite a bit. There's a lot of good information, interesting guests and stuff like that, and he had David Goggins on fairly recently, who I think is an important figurehead in kind of like the mental strength world. Really kind of teaches you how to, or kind of shows you how we don't really push beyond our own limitations very often. He says that you know, a lot of people quit at 40% of what they're capable of, and that's been something I've been reflecting on a little bit lately, because I know my father was talking about our reception of pain and yeah, go ahead and ask anything. He was talking about our reception of pain and pleasure and how they're related, and how basically we often chase after pleasure thinking that it's kind of the opposite of pain, but really when a colleague of his was studying leprosy and stuff like that, and how people lost their sense of pain and feeling and stuff like that, how like a lot of things in their life decreased, and obviously started having physical health effects from it and stuff, and while they were studying them, they basically figured out that pain and pleasure are much more like two branches of the same tree, and they're a lot more linked than we think. Like, it's kind of along the same sayings that hunger makes the best sauce, and like when you go camping or exploring with someone, how you it's quite an enjoyable experience, though it's a very difficult one. Bonjour. My French is very bad. How do you make a larger neck? It's kind of in association with other muscles. Like, obviously the traps probably have the biggest role. Like, I haven't done like a ton of direct neck training outside of when I was in wrestling. What they would do is like neck bridges and stuff like that, but that's not something I would recommend to everyone unless they have the proper environment to do. Usually, if you do things that that require like stability of your neck, it can increase the strength of it and the size of it. But if you just do like heavy lifting and like Olympic lifting and deadlifts and stuff like that, that should help, because like if you're increasing your overall muscle mass, it will translate to your neck as well. Yeah, like you can do direct neck training. It's just the thing. The thing is with it, it's very easy to overdo it. Your neck is not supposed to take large amounts of force or anything like that. Can I say your last name? I'll give it a shot. Amazashvili. Amazashvili. Do I go to a circus school, or how do things go there exactly? I did not go to a circus school, but I train with the company. I auditioned for a circus school last year, but I didn't get in. So I met some people that were training and performing, and started to learn from them directly rather than go to a school. And do I have a video for the neck? I do not have a video for the neck. I could do one, and I'm 25 currently. In Paris. Well, welcome. Hello from Canada. I could, like, I don't think, like, it's not a part of my own training, the neck stuff, but, like, I've had my own issues with the neck, so maybe it's something I could look into for, yeah, I could try to do that for sure. I'd want to make sure, like, because the way I did it before was just wrestling based stuff, so I'd want to probably double check and make sure that the science on that stuff hasn't changed since I was younger, because sometimes you do things that just kind of done in like a environment where everyone just copies each other, but no one looks and sees if it's like the most beneficial thing to do. What do I do? Mostly just like group fitness and personal training. It's all in the fitness world. A little bit of stuff, woodworking and stuff like that occasionally, just like making handstand blocks and stuff. What made me decide to take up MMA, and why did I stop? Well, I always liked martial arts and stuff like that. Like growing up, Jet Li was like my hero. I always liked playing the PlayStation 2 game with him, and always just liked watching movies like Iron Monkey and all different kung fu movies and stuff like that. And I always wanted to do that. I did kickboxing when I was like 12, or not 12. Yeah, I guess I was 12. Um, and then I did like karate in grade 10, and then went into wrestling. And while I was doing wrestling and stuff like that, I started watching a bunch of MMA and stuff like that, and just wanted to do it, and slowly transitioned from wrestling into jiu-jitsu and stuff like that, and then boxing, and added all that in. And by the time I was like 17 or 18, I decided to fight. A lot of it was tied to tied to I'm not sure what that means, but thank you. Um, but yeah, with the MMA stuff, a lot of it I tied to is like I went from a private school to a public school. I knew like maybe like two people in the whole school when I transitioned over, and so like nobody knew me, and I like didn't know how to like necessarily earn public respect and stuff like that. And I think MMA for me, a lot of ways, was the way that I did that, because I just like I didn't know like I wasn't like in any group of people, so I was kind of forced to find my own way, and MMA was the way I did that. I connected to the other people that liked it in the school and stuff like that, and then when when me and my friends were training it and stuff like that, people just kind of knew us as that group, and that became our little clique and stuff like that. And then also when people know you do MMA, they were more likely to treat you with a little bit more respect and stuff. So that served its purpose for a time. But I went to college, and I'd originally chosen a college to be close to an MMA school that I knew of, and wanted to train at and stuff like that. But once I got into college and got into like kind of the social aspect of it, my interests and stuff changed. I eventually went back like a little bit more interested than I was in college. Like now I'm probably more interested again in MMA than I was in college, but I just found that I had other avenues that I could put energy into and get the same thing that I was looking for through MMA out of. And the other thing is I was worried to some degree about concussions and stuff like that. Not that I had them, but I did like rugby and stuff like that as well. So I probably had concussions. Nothing, I've never been knocked out, but I've definitely seen black and white from getting hit before, and I buckled onto my knees once or twice, and all the research I started reading about concussions and stuff like that just had me nervous, because it was kind of, I was thinking about what the end goal would be for MMA. I was like, did I think I could make it? Like, was I prepared to grind for 6 years to maybe make it into UFC at or 8 years, that maybe make it into UFC at like 26, 28, and then maybe not make that much money. I'd still have to work my way to the top, maybe get a title shot, and like, you know, it was just, was that the life that I wanted, or was it the life that I thought that I wanted? And it seemed when I was looking through it that there was other things, because I'm a creative person. I enjoy a lot of the more creative avenues and outlets, and I always like drew as a kid and stuff like that, and always had interest in that and video games and all that. So digital media was a much more natural transition, I think. And I always watched YouTube since like the early days, watching like Scooby and Omar Isuf and Elliot Hulse and stuff like that. And I always wanted to, once I had the means, to create a YouTube channel and stuff. Yeah, injuries are the big thing in MMA. The only way to make it is to live it 100%. Yeah, that was the thing. Like, I love it, and I still do, and I like still go back and train, but I don't. It's yeah, you can't half-ass it. Basically, it's so I'll go and like roll with the guys sometimes, and do jiu-jitsu and box a little bit when I go back, but yeah. It mean that a real and good-looking man ears like you and not at all. Thank you. Yeah, well, I think the best way to do that is just not get too concerned what other people say you should look like and stuff, and just embrace who you are, and just be the best version of yourself you can be. Do you know something about Georgia? Not like Georgia, U.S. Georgia, or like, what are we talking? Probably not. I don't know much about any place I haven't been. I've only been, how tall are you, how heavy, and what's my shoe size? Sounds like a bio. Well, I'm 6 feet tall, 190 pounds, and size like 11 and a half, 12. Right, yeah. No, I don't know much about it. I've never been outside of the North and South America, and not many places in South America. Mainly just US and Canada. It's expensive to travel. So you recommend making friends through hobbies? Yeah, definitely. That's the way that I find, like, the best way. The best way to make new friends and stuff like that is with common interests, because a lot of the times when you don't have something that you do together, there's not a lot that links your friendship unless you've really known each other for a long time and stuff, and your social atmosphere definitely dictates what you get out of your training and stuff like that too. Or is it? Oh, that makes me laugh. I don't know, just flattering, I guess. But it was funny hearing Zac Efron called as a doll, I guess. It's funny. Yeah, no, I don't know much about Georgia, because I assume that's where you're from. Any advice on how to improve flexibility in the shoulders? Yeah, just one of the things is just to keep at it. Like, it's one of those things that takes a lot more time than you think would. Yeah, if you watch the handstand video I made, there's part 1 and part 2. Should have been probably in November, I think I put it out. The part 1 is all about shoulder and pike flexibility and stuff that would relate to your handstand. So, yeah, I would check out that. That would be my advice. Might help out. I have to Google Translate that because I'm not sure what tennis is. Do I know Paris? Okay. Yeah, I know of it. Never been to Europe or anything, unfortunately. Georgia's a small country in Europe, and Kudoli is the Georgia martial art. You can see. Okay, cool. No, I've never heard of it. Yeah, I've only mostly been exposed to Brazilian and Eastern Asian martial arts. Imagine the flexibility is more thoracic for handstand since all the back muscles work. Yeah, it's definitely both of them. You can tell, like, if you get into the proper position, but you have to arch through your back, then that might mean that it's your shoulder flexibility. But if you have no movement, if you compensate a lot with your lower back, then it might mean that your thoracic mobility is missing. But my phone just hit 15%, so I probably got maybe 4 minutes left before I have to go. At what age do you start to look exactly? Probably 21, I would say. I was pretty close. I was like 5 pounds lighter. In college, yeah, I weighed like 185 pretty much most of college, and as soon as I got out of college, I think I went to a buffet once and like ate 5 pounds of food and then just never lost it since. So yeah, I've been like 190 for 3 years now, I think. Yeah, like at least 3 years since 2015. But yeah, it's more or less. Yeah, 14%. Do not know who that is. What do they do? Are they collabs? No, he lives in Australia. But yeah, I'm not sure if he would collaborate. But I don't know. I've never seen him collaborate with anyone before. The one that I was hoping to, but it's hard because the collaborations work so much better when you're in person, so it's like in the Toronto area works a lot better if I can work with people there, because like the online collaborations you can do some stuff. I was talking to Tom Merrick at one point in time, but unfortunately it never worked out. Maybe in the future we can, but his channel's quite a bit bigger than mine, so I don't know if he would see the benefit in him collaborating anymore, as well as Vahaba, or however you say his. But yeah, I'm not sure. I would have to talk to him, see what he's saying, because we probably disagree in a couple things training wise, or I would disagree with a couple things training wise from him. But yeah, I don't know. I appreciate his hustle for sure. Mosey. I don't know who that is. I understand like half that. I'll have to translate that again. Wait, you speak French. Can you translate something for me? Quels sont tes lectures livres? It's French. It's Parisian French rather than Canadian French, I think. That's very interesting. How do you deal with it? I don't, there's not really much I do, I guess. I just kind of live my life normally, and take a compliment when I get one, I guess. I don't know. There's not, I wouldn't say it's a debilitating effect on my life or anything like that, but where am I now? And I'm in Toronto, Canada. What kind of reading? Oh, probably if you're talking reading, I do read some philosophy, mainly just Osho. Elliot Hull's kind of put me onto that, but I was reading a few things, like the Molecules of Motions one that I'm getting through very slowly, and then I reading like another one, Character Analysis by Wilhelm Wright. That one's good, but it's kind of older, so it's a little heavy. But what do I do for recovery? Anti-band stuff. I try to utilize becoming a supple leopard just to be active. The older I get, the more I realize how bad being sedentary. Yeah, totally. That's something I have to do because of all the editing and stuff, and I also play a game sometimes that even though I go from periods of being super active to periods of low activity and stuff like that, so I have to balance that out because I know just like even if you are super active for a couple hours a day, sitting down for a long period of time still has a negative effect. So it's like it's good to be constantly moving. But for recovery, mainly just stretching and taking time off when I need it, doing more active recovery, which is basically just whatever muscles are kind of fatigued, just stretching them out and moving them through a range of motion. So the common one is legs. Your legs get fairly tired after doing either tumbling for several hours or intense weight training. So just like moving it around a little bit, doing even just like some flow stuff or cardio stuff or bodyweight squats. Oh, she's my friend. She's staying here and training with us for a bit, doing some circus arts. And yes, you can ask me a funny thing, as long as it's PG. Work area. Work area? I'm not sure, but yeah, that's where I am most of the time now. Can I cross my eyes? I can. Very exciting, isn't it? Yeah, it's nuts how they used to say bed rest the only way to fix problems, but now it's the opposite. Yeah, and it depends on your problem too, like, because a lot of things, like, the way I view fatigue a lot of the time, like, and this is not a scientific thing, but it's almost like cement. Like, it's like, it starts to solidify if you sit down, because it's like sprains and stuff like that. As soon as you start walking on them again, you will recover a lot quicker because inflammation has to travel through the lymphatic system, so it has to like be moved around. So it's either through like things like massage, foam rolling, or through physically moving the muscles itself. So it's good to do that. But obviously, if you like break something or tear something, you should probably not use it for a little bit. Let it just kind of figure out and let your like nervous system calm down and stuff. But yeah. Like, I know Ito's really about that, the moving around. He did the video on it with Johnny, tore his pec and stuff like that, so. I think she's reading. I don't know if she wants to be shown. What do you do to build stamina? It's fairly specific to what I'm trying to build it for. Like, so a lot of the times it's like, say it's for just general purposes. It's just doing longer sequences of things. So it's like, for most of the things I do, obviously, like I do like the rowing machine, and in outside, like when it's nice out, I'll jog and stuff like that every once in a while. Just that's more for me, just like enjoying the process and stuff like that. But yeah, like when I'm doing trapeze training, when I do conditioning or try to build stamina, we'll have like a 4-minute act that will break down to section A, section B, section C, or whatever, and then we do section A to get good at that, and section B, and then as we're building stamina, we do A and B together, and then C, A, B, and C. Yeah, I'll have to go in a few minutes here if my phone's about to run out. But how much did I drill the flow stuff before it became natural, or do it properly? It's still, like, I still don't feel like I do it naturally, so it just, you have to spend the hours on the mat, honestly, and the big thing is, like, working the transitional parts. So it's like everyone, like it's comfortable to work on the individual spots. Like you have your croc, you have your, your QDR and all that, and we get comfortable with that. But how can you get out of it? How many ways can you get into it, into other specific positions? So it's like I kind of see the main work is in between, the in-between stages of the movements, like how well you can transition from one to the other. And when I started, was I skinny or no? I was kind of skinny. I've never been like super skinny. Like I was always fairly active as a kid, but I definitely was trying to build muscle mass a lot when I was younger. Like I was probably like 160 or so when I was at my full height, but hadn't grown muscle mass yet, and so I was just working on that a bit. But now I don't try to. I work 3 hours, but still have consistent tempo while doing those 3 hours. Yeah. Did I take anything? No. Honestly, even if I wanted to, I probably couldn't afford it. But no, it's never been like within the realm of what I'm into, like, or what my goals are. You don't really need to do any steroids or anything like that. So, like, everyone out, like, that gets in the fitness community, I'm sure thinks about it at one time. Like, I think I would have more, had I gone down the road of acting and stuff like that, would it be more of a temptation for me? I think so. Like, when I looked up a video, someone was talking about what they do is like $5,000 a month or something like that. But yeah, I can afford that. But it's not really what I want to do, because like I'm the kind of guy, like I can't even decide what kind of candy bar I want to eat at the store, let alone play chemistry with my own biology. I just feel like I would like wreck my own hormones, and like, because I feel like I was dealt a fairly good hand right now, so to potentially screw that up with taking steroids, it's just not, the pros and cons aren't worth it for me. And yeah, I don't have any current plans on taking it. The only thing I would is, say I'm like 50 something and testosterone drops and I get a doctor to regulate it. But yeah, it's not really my, like, I feel like it's immediately you're admitting to, or like if you take steroids, you're basically saying that you're not good enough and you can't do it on your own. So it's like, it's a negative attitude to have, I would say, with like training. But yeah, and like honestly, at my weight, I don't need to get any bigger for what I want to do. Like, if anything, I need to lose a little bit of weight, because like flipping and stuff like that, there's more impact on the joints, and that's what I like to do the most. Do I drink protein? I eat enough protein. Like, I do every once in a while, but I'm super bad at like taking, like, I have stuff here, like I have like omega-3s and glucosamine and vitamin D that I'm supposed to take regularly, but, or I like the idea of taking them, but I don't, I'm not good at like remembering to take it, and same with the protein powder. But I'm not opposed to it. I eat like 3 eggs and 3 pieces of bacon every morning, pretty much, and that like alone is enough protein probably to get me through most of my day. And then I usually eat like chicken or fish every night, with like just couscous or something like that. But yeah, I think I'm gonna have to call it here, because my phone is at 2% now, so it's gonna die in the next few seconds. I just want to say thank you to everyone who tuned in and joined me on the stream. I hope you have a wonderful night, and keep an eye out for a video, hopefully out tomorrow, if everything goes well, and all that. So yeah, all right. Well, thank you for joining the video, and hopefully we'll see you again.